and welcome to Act 1 of Random Acts of Squirrels. This is the premiere, first, maiden voyage video that hopefully will start off and create a whole bunch of other stuff. I tried something else before and it just didn't feel right, so after several months of thinking about it, I decided we will try something else, and this is what I came up with. Today, as I said earlier, is Act 1. 1 plus 1 equals 3. Hopefully. One of the challenges that I had as I was doing this and thinking about it and stuff was it's kind of scary to do this. I didn't really think about it until I started, but for months I had all this equipment, I had really good ideas, and everything sounds great in your brain. And then if you don't have to share it, you don't have any way to critique it, and I kept thinking of better reasons not to do it. And one person at work came by and he's like, well, when are you going to show me this video? And I realized that everyone has really good ideas. And I think when they first show them, they never work, or they kind of work, which means my first goal when I start here was basically twofold. Don't suck, because I can get better, because if you don't suck, people keep watching. And be interesting, number 2. If you're interesting, people will keep watching. They'll let you grow, they'll fall into what you want, that kind of stuff. I think my goal is just to kind of share all the things that I like to do. I tried narrowing it down, and hopefully I prove it to be interesting enough. I guess it's kind of like if you look at some musicians, like some people are really good at writing love songs, some good are ballads, and you get that guy who just writes random things all over, and it doesn't really look like anything until it gets done. And then you look at all the distance that he did, all the parts that he added, and you realize it's deeper and more interesting. So I love media. I love movies, I love concerts, I love music, I love new stuff. I love, like, I go with my nephew, and I was going to go to Playboy Cardi until he's not going to be in Minneapolis. And then I love old stuff. I just found a Dean Martin CD and just completely fell in love with it. And so I just kind of love media. I love how it affects things. I love books and how they can inspire you and take you into different worlds. I love things like Usagi Yojimbo, which is about the coolest educational thing you can ever read. Imagine like DuckTales art with Japanese lore. And then I love the really inspirational stuff. There's books, I'm going to brain fart on the name here. But Jay Glazer has this really cool book that I read like 2 years ago, which will come up in one of these too. And it really changed my life. It's really awesome. So that into movies. In a couple weeks, my hope is to talk about how I got to see 2 John Carpenter movies and talk a little bit about that, into the new stuff, and honestly just stick the camera in front of me and see where it goes. Today, though, is 1 plus 1 equals 3. Somewhere I heard it through one too many inspirational things that you are a sum of your own works. Where you are at in this point in time in life is exactly where you are because of all the things that have happened to you, occurred to you, externally, internally, all that kind of stuff. If you like where you're at, that's great. Keep doing that. Keep those influences around you. Do all that kind of stuff. But if you don't, you got to step up and do something about it, because no one else is going to change your life. Or what I find a lot of times is the external forces that change your life, typically they're not very nice about how they do it. You just find yourself jarred into something else. So you got to get ahead of it. So I don't like a lot of the media that's coming out. I feel like it could be better. I was watching a YouTube guy, and his name's Dave, and I forget his last name right now, Dave Cullen. And he reviews a lot of movies, and he talked about how we can either sit here and critique the world, or we can participate. He said it more elegantly than me, but the point holds. And this is my way of trying to step up and do something. And maybe now it's just commentary on stuff that's cool, but if you don't know it exists, how are you going to find it? And maybe sometimes going back and finding old stuff is cool. It's what you need to hear. Or maybe it's going out and finding the new thing that someone tapped into some legendary source that's out there, some primeval goo kind of thing that makes it so the world has something bigger and wiser because of it. And this is kind of my first towing into that pond, or towing into that pool, hoping that I can add to it. But as like those great classics have been around, time will tell that they're classics. I guess time will tell if this works. So if you like what you see and you think it's kind of cool, you want to kind of go on this adventure with me, I have a handful of stuff. I have a great big bookshelf full of things. I have some Goodwill in front of it, so it's not very cool. It's eventually going to be where I'm going to be. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. The reviews won't be fresh and new. The movies will be out for a couple days later, but my hope is to stay on top and start a discussion. And if you like the discussions, kind of add in, see what you think. And if you have anything you want me to poke at, kind of start writing down. Let's build an adventure. Thank you.